Welcome, guys. You see all this stuff here? You want to see what I'm going to build with it? Then make sure you stay tuned. They'll be right back. Howdy, guys. Welcome to the cave. I'm Mark, and you're watching Blue Street Customs. Okay, guys. Well, I got a bunch of stuff here, and I got a whole bunch of stuff in here, a bunch of everything else. I got all kinds of parts. What I'm planning on doing is whatever you want to call it, kit bashing, scratch building. I want to make some sort of Star Wars pod racer in my own version. And I'm going to use pretty much junk and stuff from a dollar store. Very cheap, things you can pretty much find around your house, or in some cases go buy very cheaply. So I went out and I bought things that I figured I could use for, maybe a cockpit. Take it apart, it's very cheap, got it at a dollar store. Comes apart very easy. I've got old pieces of remote control cars. I went and picked up a bunch of these little 1 ounce shot solo cup type things. There's 30 of them for $1.25. Got some of these old Cadbury egg containers. Maybe I can cut them up or something. I've got some old electronics that I've built, maybe pull this apart. I got some gems and stuff here. Maybe they can be rocket thrusters or something. I got stuff from Amazon that I've had for a while now. You guys may have your own stuff, but you could use gears out of things like old tape decks, VCRs, printers, scanners, things like that. So I've got some gears here. Picked this up from the dollar store. Yes, it looks like flowers, but it also looks like kind of turbine engines, does it not? Propellers, things like that. So I picked that up. Got some straws that I've bought from the dollar store, plastic ones, paper ones. Again, from the dollar store. These are just little stick-on bead type things. You'd use them for some sort of big rivets or something. I've got heavy-duty cardboard tube from cellophane wrap. And then again, I've got all kinds of stuff in here. I got these little discs that pins were in. I got sewing bobbins, leather straps, old CO2 cartridges, Lego dirt bike thing maybe, I don't know. All kinds of stuff. I even have my test prints from the Elegoo Mars resin 3D printer. Maybe they can be some sort of turbine engine or something, right? Got all kinds of stuff. Of course, if you're any type of crafter, you've got, wire and all kinds of stuff. You've got leftover model parts, old Lego pieces. There's all kinds of stuff you can use. Now, if you want to get a little fancier too at the same time, and you do a lot of crafting and things, you've got styrene sheets that you may have, or styrene rod, tube, squares, angles, different things like that. You may also have some shrink tube. I got this from Canadian Tire, obviously here in Canada, but I'm sure you could find this at most automotive stores, maybe even online at Amazon. Old electrical wiring from remote control cars, printers, all kinds of stuff. You keep all of this stuff. You never know. You got popsicle sticks, bamboo sticks, chopsticks, all kinds of stuff that you can possibly use. Of course, you got pin heads and stuff if you need handlebars or something like that. These little pins, that's what was in these discs. I got a whole jar here full. Go to your dollar store or cheap jewelry section, very cheap. You can pick up all kinds of chain links and stuff like that. You may look a little odd buying women's jewelry, but you can get all kinds of chain. So there's all kinds of stuff. You can even get necklaces and stuff that have beads all through it. So you can tear all the beads out if you want to use them for, any type of tabletop terrain or buildings or anything like that, for D&D or 40K. So I'm going to go for sort of like a steampunk style, maybe dwarven-ish pod racer. Now, I don't know what I'm going to use for a driver. I'm going to look through a few of my D&D minis, see if there's anything that I can tear apart. I'm going to try not to use the resin 3D printer, other than maybe possibly using my test prints when I first got the machine. I've got all kinds of model parts and stuff from different models. So I'm going to clean up some stuff here and start figuring out what I want to do and how I'm going to build it. Hey guys, I'm back. Okay, I cleaned that other stuff off, but I found a bunch more other things that I could possibly use. Now, I also went along and cut up a few things and test fitted a few things just to try and get myself a bit of a design. So what I come up with was these little cups, toilet paper rolls. That's going to go kind of like that, right? Now, the other end, I'm going to take one cup and I cut the bottom off of another cup so that they can sit like that. Okay. Now these egg pieces, I cut the lip off, so I ended up with something like that. Now it is a little flimsy, but that's okay, because what I plan on doing is putting it just like that. All right. So you get a nice little cone intake type vent. So with that built, that will go like this, right on there. So now we already have the start of an engine, or what looks to be a, one of those turbine engine type things, right? Okay. So now on the other end, one of these rooks, and these are these test prints for the Elegoo Mars. It printed out 2 of them, so I figure I'm going to use them. They happen to fit just nice right inside. All right. Now these here, these are knobs off of a old stereo. They fit perfectly in there. So that's what you're going to have, is something like that. Now for the inside, I took one of these things. These hold those little pins with the balls on the end of it. And I cut out the centerpiece. And then from there, I cut the very center out. And I cut all these tiny little pieces off. As you can see here, all these tiny little pieces. All right. Those little pieces were in between these little fins. And that, to me, definitely looks like a turbine engine, right? So I have to trim this to fit inside the cup, but this will fit right on here. I got to trim it just a little bit more so it fits a little better, but basically you end up with that. So now with the bullet, you have what looks like a turbine engine. And once it's inside the cup, it'll look pretty cool. But I will move it down a little further just so that it's a little further inside. So that's where I'm at right now. Now I'm going to use this here, and these are out of a microwave oven. I've got 2 of them, and I'm going to do kind of something like this one, just to give it some texture and some nice detail kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to do. A few other things that I've kind of looked at doing is I have this piece of remote control car that I cut up. It's kind of got a steering linkage and stuff. Remember this car piece I showed you? Well, I took the seat bucket out of it, and it just so happens to fit very nicely in here. Just like that. So now I've got the starts of a cockpit. And of course, I've got all kinds of other little pieces and stuff. I found these things here. I don't remember what they're from. They've got wire on them. They may be a little hard to cut because there is metal plates in here that run all the way around and through, but I've got 2 of them. I'm thinking probably some sort of, energy binders or something like that kind of thing. If I can get them to maybe slide inside, cut some holes or whatever, get them to slide inside for energy binders. I've got all kinds of solenoid coils. These are all electronics, you know, some Healy coils. I've got some toroidal coils. These things are kind of neat. They look very mechanical type electronics, very steampunky type thing. So I'm going to plug in my hot glue gun. While that's heating up, I'll cut out another one of these, and we'll get to putting it together. I'll show you one, and then I do the other one off camera. Okay, now that I've got it at this point, I can start adding on, I believe, what they call greebles. So this stuff here is basically just meant to decorate. Right? I've got everything from springs, wires, resistors, different size resistors, toroidal coils, you know, electro solenoids. I've got all kinds of different stuff. I got parts from other toys and things like that you know I've got some transistors. Here's another type of toroidal coil. This one's a sealed one, and another style. So I'm just going to use these things, and I'm going to start placing some stuff on, and then from there what I'm going to do is use some styrene tube, some straws, wires, things like that to make it even more mechanical looking. So we'll get to that right now. guys. So you saw this, right? How I've got this so far, right? Off camera, I built the other one. Pretty much identical. I'm going to change up a few things, you know, so that both sides aren't exactly the same, but the basic engine is still the same. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start working on the cockpit section of it. And once I get that done, I got this wire here. It's a heavy gauge. I believe it's a 12 gauge wire, just a house electrical wire. And this here should be good enough for making the tether cables. And that's what these little things are for here. There's actually a little joint in there, so I can glue them in where I need them and have the pod in there. So we're going to set these aside, and then we're going to get to building this. So I've got a few pieces here still left over. Try and build something out of this. Also for the rider, I was saying something maybe dwarven or whatever, but I've got a bunch of minis here. Some of them are broken, and they are little skeletons. All right. Now, I've got enough of them here that I can take apart, maybe cut some of their legs, reshape them so they'll fit in here, because they will fit actually fairly decently. They'll actually sit in quite nice. You can kind of see how the feet and everything kind of sit in there just nice. Same thing, I've got one body here that, with the way the arms are shaped and everything, I can cut them up a little bit and reshape them so they'll fit the steering wheel. So that's what I'm going to use for them. So I'm going to get to it here and let you watch. Okay guys, so this is where I'm at so far. I got the tethers on, right? And a few little other things here and there, make it look more like a pod. So I'm going to do some fine detail stuff off camera on the pod, and I'm going to do a bunch of tubing and electrical wiring on this, maybe a few other little things, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what I've got. Then we'll get to priming it. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay guys, well, I did a bunch more. I ended up adding these type of fins on here. Not sure, let me know what you think. Maybe if I build these things again, maybe a complete different design. Added some embellishments on it, some more wiring and stuff here. You can see that there. A couple little things. Added some wires in here. Started running them around all the way across. Ran some up here. That's going to run up those lines. Glue that on. Now, I started doing some rivets. Let me know what you think. Like, they're pretty hard to see there, but let me know what you think of those. And I also found some other ones they're stick on. I'm going to put some of them on. Hopefully when everything's primed, it should look pretty good. Now these rivets, all they are, I went to the dollar store and they're like these tiny little beads. Like tiny, tiny, tiny. Let's see, where's the rest of them here? Here's the rest of them. They come as a pack of 6, different colors. I think they're just for doing some sort of crafts or whatever. But I was looking at them and they seem to be the perfect size for this scale anyways, for rivets. Not too bad, huh? And yes, I know they're not straight. I don't want them straight. I want them to look like everything was kind of patched together and, made from junk. So yeah, these things, they're pretty tiny, but they seem to work really good. And all I'm using is some white school glue because it dries really clear, dries thin. I'm applying it with toothpick, just making dots, making dots on it all the way down, and then I'll just pick one up at a time and put them on. So I got a few more things to glue down and reshape. I got to hook up a bunch of these wires. I got these ones hooked up. I'm probably going to put on some more piping and stuff. I just thought I'd show you that. And oh, I got this. I did the more work on this. So I started putting some wiring here. It just comes out the back here. You see the red piece there? Comes out, goes around. I'll split these up. There's 4 of them. And I'll run them different places. I got my skulls on here and this here. Put some coils back here and another piece down here. I'll be putting more wiring on. Get rid of all my hot glue strings. I'm going to cover up some more wire and make some piping. Some piping, I'm just going to use some thicker wire. I don't have any here at the moment. But anyways, let me know what you think of it so far down in the comments. And I'm just going to keep going here, adding little pieces of piping and stuff to make it look a little more mechanical. So anyways, I'm not going to bore you with putting on these rivets because I got the other one to do as well. I'm going to put the bigger ones on. So once I get that done and I get some more piping and wiring done, I'll come back and I'll show you. Okay guys, well, I've got all the wiring on. I've got all the rivets on. Everything I'm going to put on, even on here, I put some along the edges there and around the center. I even did some weld beads all through here along the fins. Everything is all glued down, ready to rock and roll. I got rivets and stuff on here. I got the wiring done along the edge and the front and everything, as you can see. So that's all ready to go. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll finish letting that dry, and then I'm going to prime everything. Once that's dry, I'm going to start to get to weathering and greasing and all that stuff. So give me a few minutes. I'll be back and I'll show you what it looks like when it's primed. Hey guys. All right, I've got everything all primed up. You know, it looks not too bad. All the weld lines, turbine engine, all that stuff. Some of the wires are going to get covered afterwards, so it won't matter. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spray both the engines with a silver color, and then from that point I can actually start weathering and painting and greasing up, and then be gone to final assembly. So if you give me a few minutes, I'm going to spray them, let them dry. Should only be a few seconds for you. So I'll be back. Okay guys, so I've got these all painted up silver color, but when I painted them, I noticed I forgot to use putty on the fins. Because they are wood, hard to see, but they do have a wood grain to them. Can you see that? See the wood grain? So, in this instance, I'm not going to worry about it too much. This was my first attempt at making something like this. I've never scratch built or bash built, whatever you want to call it. I've never done this before. So I'm just going to continue on, and hopefully it turns out looking good. So that's the silver. As you can tell, there's the primer, right? And all I used was a Rust-Oleum chrome. Yeah, right. Does that look like chrome? No, not at all. But anyways, so I'm going to use some oils and make up some washes. Do a bit of washes on these. Do some chipping and some rusting. Some grease stains. Maybe paint up a couple wires. I don't know yet. We'll see. But anyways, as far as these things go, I mean, they actually don't look too bad. Let me know what you think down below. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you can get notified when I post videos. I've also started a Patreon page, so if you feel the need that you might want to help out making some of these videos, please feel free, but you're not obligated. Every donation goes right back into the channel. And don't forget to check my Instagram and my Facebook.